G'day everyone, Jason Nunn from Fisherman's Warehouse Marine, Sweet Street at Warners Bay, your Newcastle Honda Marine dealer. Thursday today, have a look at the weather, blue sky, look at the lake here, unbelievable, dead flat, and looking at the ocean there this morning, the same thing, flat out to the ships, just absolutely perfect. The weekend, look, it's not too bad, guys. There's going to be just a little southerly or sou'easter Saturday, possibility of a shower, a little bit more possibility on Sunday, and that wind then sort of gets into that sort of maybe 10 to 15 out of the southeast. It's not a lot. Now, things have been happening quick out wide. We spoke about it last week. The bluefin season, probably the best bluefin season we've ever had off Swansea. Doesn't happen all the time. It's not all the time that you get this cold water coming up. But it was a real different vibe there last Sunday. A few boats did venture out on the Saturday on the back of that big weather system. Sunday, there was a lot of boats out there. We had 12 boats fishing in the Lake Macquarie Sked, and there was probably another 6 or 7 boats there, even boats up from Broken Bay, a little bit south of the Southerns, out and around that 600, 700 fathom line, bluefin and yellowfin. Water temp, surprisingly enough, guys, it was in and around about 19.6. The week before, when they caught the bluefin, it was about 16.9. I suppose most of us were thinking, okay, the water may be a little bit warm. Not the case. We were out there, of course, my young bloke Patrick, congratulations to him, 64.5 kilo bluefin on 24, but some beautiful fish. Ross Island, 77 kilo bluefin on 24. Fantastic. He's now leading the tuna slam down at Lake Macquarie. But some great effort. I know Luke Ashman, the same thing. There's just been a rise of Billy J and his crew. They got 3 bluefin, all between that 60 and 70 kilo mark. We had a couple of fish bust the surface early in the morning. The boys got onto them and they really were carving through. Mixed in with these bluefin, there's been some beautiful yellowfin. And this yellowfin bite, it was a little bit of a bite there on Sunday. There was a couple of the guys got one around about 50 kilo at the cleaning table when we were there. There was another one, I know Kai and his dad Damo, they got a nice fish in around about that 30 kilo mark and lost a bluefin that they were probably calling in excess of 80, 90 kilo. Kai, our junior angler, of course, 2 hours on the rod. Another one of the guys that was out there fishing on 15, 2.5 hours to get sharked at the end. Absolutely broken-hearted. Monday come, bang, yellowfin. And there was quite a few yellowfin. I know Sam Wilkins and crew, 2 yellowfin, I think one was 52 kilo, one's 58. And Tom and Brad Dalton, they went out, I think it was pretty much the same day, or Tuesday, they got a fish, would have been easily mid-50s. Beautiful fish. So we're now starting to see these yellowfin. They're blind bites, and what I mean by blind bites, guys, is there's not a lot of birds or bait out there on these yellowfin. They're just coming out of nowhere, but again, that consistency, that 600 to 700 fathoms, no doubt even out a little bit further. The current is moving around a little bit, so these bites that are happening and these fish that are out wide are changing daily, and that's what you've got to be aware of, that the bite may not be consistent, so you've got to do a lot of miles to sort of get these fish. And look, even if you catch one, they're so big that it's just well worth the effort. But some great fishing and probably the best season. Now, I know Matty Smith was out there on Sunday, lost a marlin at the side of the boat, and that just shows you the diversity of the fish life that's actually way off our coast. Talked to all the guys that fished in close, and particularly spoke to Darren Ham this week. He fished up off Broughton up towards Seals on Sunday. On the back of that big blow, you would have expected that the snapper would have been jumping in the boat. They were jumping in the boat, but not a lot of size, guys. Fish, 35s to 40s, the odd 45 to 50 mixed in with it, but no real big donkeys. I didn't hear of any, 6, 8 kilo fish getting caught. Probably as it starts to settle down, and no doubt there'll be some reports filter through this week. Everyone's probably doing the secret squirrel on what they're actually doing, but plenty of squiring close, and I think this weekend, that better opportunity to get out there. Tides for Saturday, guys. Midday high tide, not a big tide, it's around about 1.45, and basically 6 p.m. low. That moon now, we've come off that new moon and we're starting to see the first quarter build, and as it goes into next week, we're going to start to head in half moon and basically get back up to that full moon period. So the tuna offshore will start to obviously bite in a little bit more late next or middle of next week, Tuesday, Wednesday. We've got a few showers again, but we're actually going to swing around to the northeast, so the wind is actually going to change through. The beaches, had a report on the beaches. lucky to catch a cold on Stockton Beach. One of the boys let me know. It's just you've got to get out there, and no one really knew what was going to go on the beaches. No doubt there are still salmon and tailor around, but it did get eroded quite heavily. The reports that came off the rocks, though, over the weekend were sensational. Plenty of luderick, a lot of drummer, and some really nice snapper getting caught off the rocks. Now, you've only got around about a metre of swell again this weekend, so a great idea to get down on those rocks. If the beach isn't fishing well enough, get to the rocks and do some rock fishing. Drummer and luderick in particular this time of year, this is the peak for those guys, and they'll go right into late September at the moment. Estuary-wise, look, you're seeing a lot of fish around. There's still a lot of luderick around, certainly Port Stephens all the way down through Swansea, and no doubt even south down towards the entrance. Luderick coastally have really become quite predominant, and you're saying that that's going to basically increase as they get into that spawning period. Salmon, of course, there's quite a few salmon around. There's a lot of salmon in the channel, and there's a lot of salmon at that western cardinal marker over here at the back of the bumblebee, as we like to call it, and definitely in the channel itself, down from that Coon Island ramp on that run-in tide. There's still a few in salts, and there's also quite a few salmon out around in and around the island where you'll see your salmon, and you'll get some really nice tailor, and that's the advantage if you're ducking out there, or again, fish on those close reefs and start to get some of those reds and probably some of those flathead that are definitely on these coastal reefs. A few trags still getting caught out wide, but I haven't heard of any trag reports in close, guys, and again, we're into August now, so it's going to sort of wane away a little bit. Flathead in the lake, yes, quite a few flathead around. They're going to start to move around, and some of the comments of the guys, again, still some really nice fish up around those 60s, mid-60s, but a lot of small flathead, a lot of flathead, like 30, 35 centimetres, a lot of small fish in our system at the moment. That's okay, because that's that recruitment of those fish that we want to see coming through. Tailor, some really nice tailor, and some nice tailor this week in and around about that 55 centimetre mark. But again, you've got to move around. You know, one day they'll be up off greening, there'll be some good tailor there. The next day that'll drop away and they'll be back down to like 40. So the triangle, of course, Pulba, and certainly west of Pulba, even over towards Araring, probably worth a bit of a look, but just got to move around. There's a lot of bait in the system, and there's a lot of opportunity. We did see a few reds get caught in the lake on the back of that big blow, so things looking really good if you're going to chase reds in the lake itself. And as we've made mention before, a lot of really good brim in the lake. Use those oily-based baits and fish of a night. And we've talked about that the last week, guys. Got to fish at night. All in all, look, this weekend looks bloody good. You've got to get out there and have a look. There might be a little bit of shower, might be a little bit of sou'west, but I don't think it's going to trouble anyone. Offshore, getting wide if you want to try to get one of those yellowfin or maybe one of them bluefin before they then go back down the coast, and snapper in close. I still think there's plenty of potential there. The lake's a picture. Make the most of it, and I'll see you next week.